World of Jade Dynasty is going to launch in less than 24 hours, and here is the class introduction video that I said I was going to make before that happens. So yeah, I made it. We have 5 classes at launch, and each class has 2 playstyles that could differ quite a bit. So first is Gui Wang. It is a tank and DPS. We have Gang Gui Wang, which is the tank playstyle. As the game's only tank at launch, Gang Gui Wang is equipped with single target and group taunts, damage reduction, self-healing, and even a resurrection. Just all the tools we need to keep the party safe from boss attacks. This class is straightforward to play, and dungeon mechanics mostly target DPS players, so as a tank you often just stand still and hit the boss, which can be relaxing or dull depending on your preference. Overall, if you enjoy tanking, Gang Gui Wang offers solid tank gameplay, shorter dungeon queue times, and an easy learning curve. Then we have Sha Gui Wang. It is the DPS variant. It has this one powerful skill called Xue Bao, which deals massive damage, while all the other abilities are kinda average. While its single target damage is average, it excels in AoE scenarios. The playstyle is flashy and fun, but it lacks mobility and survivability as a melee DPS. Gui Wang players can switch between tank and DPS roles with minimal effort. If you struggle to find a spot as a DPS, you can always switch to Gang Gui Wang, making it a versatile and flexible choice. Lin Qi. It is a healer or DPS. It is currently the only gender-locked class, and you can play as either a woman or a girl. Lin Qi is the healer variant. As the only healer, he offers a full healing toolkit, including AoE and single target heals, regens, and resurrection. This class is pretty easy to play as well, but of course in the most difficult raids, there will be healing pressure still. As the only healer, Lin Qi enjoys the shortest dungeon queue times. Xilin Xi is the DPS variant. He has a straightforward rotation, offering consistent damage, small bursts here and there, and group utility, including a raid-wide DPS buff. Many bosses in this game have enrage or low health mechanics, making this buff incredibly useful if used at the right moment. Whether healing or dealing damage, Lin Qi is highly sought after and offers a solid gameplay experience. Fen Xiang. It is a fire mage DPS. Flame Fen Xiang. It deals high burst damage but requires precise execution. You must activate 3 buffs before unleashing your main spell, and any movement cancels the buff, making it tricky during mobile fights or high difficulty raids. However, its base damage is very high, and the class offers good survivability and movement skills. Spell Fen Xiang is much simpler compared to Flame, yet it does not necessarily fall behind in terms of DPS. The reason is that it does not require you to stand still, so you have much more uptime and more consistent damage. The rotation is quite easy and you can get the hang of it very quickly. While the animations are less flashy than Flame, it is an excellent choice for those who value reliability over complexity. He Huan. This is a fast-paced assassin class with fluid combo mechanics and the game's only stealth skill. It rewards skilled players with a high-risk, high-reward playstyle. Moon He Huan. For this playstyle, most of its rotation revolves around a moon gauge, which you will need to keep very good track of. After building it up with various abilities, you can expand it to unleash powerful burst attacks. Shadow He Huan is the other playstyle that summons a shadow that mimics most of your attacks for 3 minutes. This results in a consistent, sustained damage output, making it distinct from Moon He Huan's burst damage focus. Overall, He Huan is a dynamic, high-skill assassin class ideal for those who enjoy speed, combos, and high damage output. Finally, we have Qingyun. The Qingyun sect is the most iconic sect in the Jade Dynasty lore, being the most powerful sect in the story and also where the protagonist came from. This game's developer is even called the Qingyun Studio. The sword Qingyun combines excellent AoE, burst, sustained damage, survivability, and maneuverability all into one class, and naturally it became the most popular class during the 3rd beta test. Since then, it has gotten some adjustments and other classes have been buffed accordingly, and some people speculate that the sword Qingyun will no longer have the highest DPS in the game. because it's just too good at everything else. Nevertheless, it's a versatile and satisfying class to play, you can't go wrong with it. Thunder Qingyun. As the name implies, Thunder Qingyun mostly uses thunder spells. It has two builds that differ slightly. The Thunder Essence build has long range, high burst, good AoE, and good survivability. Overall, a very strong build with no obvious weaknesses. Then there's the Thunder Dragon build. It lacks some burst damage, but makes up for it with more AoE and sustained damage. It's also a lot easier for beginners, making it a great starting point before transitioning into the more complex Thunder Essence build. At the end of the day, class balance in Jade Dynasty should be alright according to the latest changes that we are seeing, and no class should feel overwhelmingly stronger or weaker than the others. Each class has its unique mechanics and playstyle, so you really can't go wrong with any. So just pick the one that you like the most, dive in, and have fun exploring everything the game has to offer. Lastly, I want to share my future plans for this game. I will be streaming all of my gameplay on YouTube, where I will ideally explain everything in English, covering the game systems, story, and mechanics as I go. However, during the first 4 days after launch, I will only have like 1 to 2 hours a day to play, but starting from the 23rd, I will go hardcore and play for like 10 hours a day to try and catch up. My ultimate goal is to be able to play every class well enough to tackle the endgame raids and release detailed class guides for each one. Of course, that will take time, and I will be starting with Linxi as my first class. If any of this sounds interesting to you, consider subscribing, and if this video has been helpful, hit the like button. Thanks for watching, and I will see you at launch.